What's good, YouTube land? We go from one of the most normal Commander class releases to one of the most what the fuck Commander class releases with Magmatron. Oh god, how did we get here? First, we're gonna have to open the box, get him out of there, and oh god, he's gonna need a lot of snip snip. And maybe a little snip snip. I didn't mean that kind of snip, but let's go with it. And we're going to start in beast mode, or should I say beast modes. Because, yeah, this guy has the ability to split himself into 3 different beasts. Let's start with the smallest, Quetzalcoatlus. However you pronounce that fucking word. All I see is a pterosaur wannabe. And I don't have a pterosaur to compare a saur. So we'll just go with it. He looks cool. What he is. If it wasn't obvious, these guys don't have individual robot modes. They have 2 different combined modes. So we're just going to go straight into articulation. The neck, or the head, is on a ball joint. Rotation, all the way around. The beak opens that much. Ow! These little hands are on ball joints. So you get some dynamic poses with them. Whee! The neck is also on a joint here, so you can really look down. And this is the pose where he's the most stable. The wings hinge, mushroom peg, hinge all the way out, and totally don't have blades right on them. Nope, that's not a sword at all. The wings are this kind of rubbery, sticky plastic. I mean, as they kind of do that, when you leave it alone for long enough, it makes that kind of odd sound, but it's slightly rubbery. I don't know how I feel. There's no waist, there's nothing, because, hello. But the hips are on a ball joint. Nice range, nice outward spread, and they're on a pin hinge, and a hinge. So he can actually get very dynamic. Oh, and by the way, his name is Skysaurus. Seriously. So yeah, he can fly, he can perch, he can do all kinds of bird-like things. And he has a spark crystal. These guys are so faithful to the Beast Wars Neo toy that they're pretty much the first toys to get brand new spark crystals in over 20 years. Since RID 2001. It's a Prodigon. Yep. So this little guy's not terrible, but he's actually on the upper end of good, I would say. Next up is this Elasmosaurus. That sounds like a made-up dinosaur. Also known as Sea-saurus. I kind of love this thing. It's just hilarious. Like, I don't know if it's a sauropod. I don't know very many dinosaurs, but like this thing is just awesome. Like, it's got a neck that would make any SH Monster Arts jealous. Look at that length. Give you a shot of it up close. I guess he's not a plant eater because he has these pretty sharp teeth and a mouth that goes ah. But each one of these is a hinge and has a swivel. So you've got, count them with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my, there's, okay, 10, upwards of, I want to say at least 15 joints in this neck. And while they don't really look that natural posing, it creates such harsh angles. Just a little bit of motion, just the right ways, can get you a somewhat decent looking arc. Or if you prefer, you can wee sideways. At any one of them. These front fins are on that same rubbery plastic as the wings, and they hinge here and have a ball joint. These ones also make that sticky. Yeah, that. But they just have a hinge. Also, I find this hilarious. You can open up his tail for essentially a butthole. We'll get back to that in transformation. So this guy is probably the best part of the set. For a size comparison, the closest I can think of is a other sauropod, maybe. But obviously this one's land-based when the Elasmosaurus is aqua, water-based. It's the closest I got, really. But speaking of bums, bringing up the bum end is this Gigantosaurus. And he tries so hard, but he just kind of fails. First off, because all I see is Magmatron wannabe. But there are some positives to this beast mode. First off, it looks like he never skipped leg day. Like, look at all the musculature in that leg. But it fails when you look at it kind of from the side, especially when you want to pose his leg, because, oh boy, what's all in there? Yeah, it's combined mode stuff. Let's talk about some of the good. I love the shade of purple. It's so much darker than yes over here. Coupled with his Pepe Le Pew skunk stripe, which I don't understand why it stops here. Why couldn't you put that white right there? Like, it's not a different kind of plastic. It doesn't feel like it would have been that hard to keep the paint going. But oh well, we have to do with what we have, which is unfortunately limited mouth articulation. You get some, but it's not much. You get side to side, and he can eat his own throat. I don't know. Does that count as a feature? Throat posability. I like the range in the neck. The arms are on ball joints, and they're a bit more dynamic and fierce looking than Megatron's. They can go all the way around. The hips are actually free to ratchet. I'll talk about the legs more in the robot mode. But the tail can do a bit of a waggle. which feels like I'm breaking the sculpt because I am. But that's all three beast modes. Like, individually, they're pretty cool for what they are. I think this guy has the most flaws given his transformation. It's understandable why, to a certain extent. But like, I'm just gonna confiscate this thing in his tail briefly because we have. You get out of there? Yeah. We have a combined beast mode. Oh, this guy's name? Landsaurus. Wow. We've reached a new low or high in lazy naming. And if you want to talk lazy, I'm going to bring the box back in for a second because I want to show this ship right here. It's either that or it's the one right here. The Predacon ship in Beast Wars Neo is named the Dinosaur. Wow. I think I just lost a few brain cells saying that. Like, you couldn't even come up with a pun? Like, the Dinosaur. Really? That's... Bravo. Bravo. But, can you see this tusk right here? You know what this is hinting at? Big convoy. The Mammoth Prime. And I so hope he gets a release at some point. Like, that'll be really cool to see how they do that. But also, you can see, along with the pictures of the dinosaurs, their names written in ancient Autobot. Okay? I'm guessing it's land, air, and sea saurus. Alright, so combined mode. This guy does nothing. This guy does almost nothing. Rotate the wings, and you stretch out the feet, and that's it. Everything comes from the Elasmosaurus, where you pop open its neck, split it in half, and drop half of it. No, you're not supposed to do that. What you want to do with this half is put this part back here. We're going to kind of straighten things out. Fold these pieces in, and then fold this peg up. And that's all you're going to do with that. For this mode, I think. Yes. So this mode, or this half, there's a bit more stuff to do. Take these panels. You want to fold out these inner struts, and then just leave them like that. And we're going to hinge this down. At the same time, these panels, which have pegs on them, are going to fold out. We're going to need them. And I guess this can just fold back like that. But the big part is these arms. You're going to take them, slide them. Which way are we going to do that? We're going to do it like this. Is it that way, or is it... Which way does it sit? No, it sits that way. Okay. Then take the arms and fold them out as if we're going into robot mode, but we're not, because we're going to extend the feet and we're going to bring them down. And do the same on the other side. Bring it down, fold and use the wrist joint. That's going to become basically an ankle joint. I think you want to rotate them so they're both this way. But then these struts are going to come into play because these struts are going to actually tab in to these bits right up here. Like that. And like that. And then these legs, actually you want them that way. Because yes, it's going to go in like that. So, I believe it's, yes. Oh, additionally, flip this piece up. And these are going to want to, how are they going to flip around? This piece is going under, and it's going to slot in a few places. So these have to go up like that. So they're going to peg in right there and use that connection and the one at the tip of the tail. So it goes like that, and then these kind of peg into the tail, locking the tail in place. So you have something that looks like that. I'm not even kidding. Bring in this piece, and this piece is going to recombine with the top half, which then also slots in securely into the tail right there, which is not really that secure considering I can still move the tail at that joint that I completely forgot. There's also a hinge right there for the tail. And at the same time, we close that connection. And now the legs are at, rotate at the elbow, so the elbow's facing forward, hinge it down, and then rotate the foot, which is also a hand. The same thing on the other side. And last up, we're going to take you, Mr. Pteranodon, and plug him in right here. So his neck is up. His head tabs in right there. Kind of awkward, but everything will lock up once you get it. Am I doing this right? Doesn't feel like I'm doing this right. Again, you stand there. This panel folds up. And then he slides in, preferably under, like that. Because there's a peg right here that's going to peg into the back of it. And that's going to... And then the head basically lies flat. This section slides over, sort of. It's not really secured. Come on. There's lots of tabs. Lots of things that can go wrong in this, let's just say. I see it. There. Tap that in place. Tap that. Hope and pray everything is solid. And even though it's not, that's what we have to go with. This is their human centipede mode, known as Magmasaurus. I guess it's a convenient way to get all the different parts of him in the same place at the same time. But I have to ask, who is this for? Like, there's a reason it's not on the package. Because this, I think, would convince a parent to go, I don't want to buy that for little Jimmy. Like, look at, it's just 3 dinosaurs hanging out. Exactly, human centipede. There's no better way I can describe this. It's long, certain, and it's kind of secure. It's basically the developers saying we're halfway in between robot and beast mode. Put it together and call it a mode. Like half of the Elasmosaurus is already ready for robot mode. Put them together. We'll make it work in the show somehow. I've never watched Neo, so I don't know if it actually works or how many appearances it makes. But I'm like, I'm never going to display it like this. It takes up way too much space. And I don't have Skylinks on hand just to show you how long it is. Now, the Elasmosaurus's mouth is the butthole of the combined mode. Let that mental image rot in your brain for a while. Let's get this separated, and thankfully we're not far from robot mode. Just get this guy off. Not that way. Separate the Elasmosaurus. And we'll start by removing this bit for no reason. And we'll come back to that eventually. So straighten the legs all the way down. And it's time for some pretty useless stuff. Because we're going to take the heel, if we can get it out. There we go. Flip that bit out. Flip these very tiny, pointless pieces right there that go in between the claws. And then take this out of the shin, tab that in. That, well, it doesn't lock the ankle tilt, but locks the forward and back joint. And then take this bit and plug it in. And you have one leg done. Let's do the other leg. The same thing. Wish I had nails right now to actually get these pieces out. Like, these pieces do a really good job of hiding in the beast mode. And also giving him holes in the backs of his legs. There we go. The legs are done for now. The arms actually tab in right there on each side. And then we're going to unfold these. They're skirt flaps. And take this, lock that back. I believe, yep, this piece tabs over the tail. And these hip flaps will just hang out here. Make sure everything's locked. We're going to rotate that all the way. And this is why the throat sucks in, just for that. So make sure this piece is closed, and this is just going to hang out here for now. Take these chest pieces, which actually are on the front of the Magmasaurus mode in the animation model. They just, I guess, couldn't figure out a way to do that in the toy. But take them, rotate them, and they're actually going to tab in right there to form a pretty cool chest panel. Now, I wish we could do a dramatic head reveal, but like you have to plug the head in before you can plug any of the rest of it. So head time, you already saw it, but fold that bit up there, and we're going to rotate these back around. You can fully extend them if you want that look, but it's going to come swoop in. There's a swoop coming out at some point. Still haven't seen it, but you have to slide the pterosaur, not pterosaur, Quetzalcoatlus. I still don't know how to pronounce that piece, but it's gonna, yeah, right there. And you gotta take the feet, and they're gonna have to hook the back of the chest at the, like, slot in. Basically, I think you want it like that, yeah. Down. That, they have to look like that. I believe actually that you want this stem right here to be vertical, because we're going to come to this section, untab these, fold them back in, fold all the connectors back in, and you're going to fold them all the way to the back. These arms are just going to end up straightened out. These bits, I use that word a lot, have to just go back into their place. The tail can just kind of sit there. I'm going to close the hand, make it actually look like a hand. Rotate so the wrist is in the proper position. And then these, it's going to kind of sit on his back and at the same time tab in to the strut the arms are on to lock that in place. And the neck is going to sit here, rotate once, up and over. And for now, well, I say for now, let me see if everything's positioned correctly. Yep. We're going to plug that in. So it plugs into right here and the gray one right there. I'm looking, where is the spark crystal on the Gigantosaurus? Because there's a spark, like two of his spark crystals are visible as you elbow. Hold on. I don't know why. I probably care way too much about this. But I swear you have, like, you have 3 spark crystals. Where is the third one? Well, we have to reattach the head now. And hopefully slide these arms in. Oh, dinosaur head. Come on. Give me a click. And a click. Yeah, there we go. And there. Oh, let's bring the Elasmosaurus head down a bit. There is the combined mode. I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of awesome. He's absolutely hilarious, first and foremost, in classic Neo style. Look at this big bastard. Look how much taller he is than Ultra Magnus. Like a clear head taller. And they're both at Commander class. I know where the Spark Crystal is. We'll talk about that in a second. Like, in my head, each of his heads have their own voice, like Deadpool's voices, and they probably talk over each other, do all kinds of zany shenanigans. Like, as I understand the story in Neo, he takes over after Galvatron in Beast Wars 2nd dies. Like, he loses a battle to Leo Prime and he ends up dying, and Magma Boss takes over the Predacons heading into Neo. I don't think there's any more personality than wants to take over the world. In my own head, he's probably insane from all the voices in his head. Each of them able to talk and open their mouths in this mode. I like to think he has a special attack where he shoots random beams out of both of these heads. Because this one, not so much good at looking forward. But this is an impressive amount of insanity. I get a close up of that head sculpt. He's totally doing the Ninja Turtle scowl. He's totally doing that. Now he's got a Spark Crystal on that one arm, which is asymmetrical if the rest of him wasn't very obviously asymmetrical. It's like, you only have one piece of shoulder arm. Why? Who knows? But it's got a Spark Crystal on it. And it's got ratchets. I like the golden cod piece that was hidden in the Gigantosaurus mode. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the whole ass tail, the whole ass and tail, just being right there, like no room to put it anywhere. Like he is certainly a shelf hog in any mode. Then his beast mode legs are just the robot mode legs with some stuff that you can't even see from the front. Like, look, none of that mechanical detail is visible in the front. Like, it's not even fully transformed in the box. Like, I didn't even realize you had to do it until I was looking at these. I'm like, wait, there's stuff back. Oh, there's stuff I have to do with this. Oh, why? What is the point of that? Like, who's looking at the back of his shins and like, oh, that's some sweet mechanical detail back there. Pistons and armor plating that in no way will help in a battle unless your enemy is behind you shooting at your shins. They might be shooting at all the beast mode bits just hanging off the back of you. His head, in all this insanity, does actually have a swivel. A dedicated swivel. I'm getting mad Myotismon vibes from these wings. It does have a swivel, which would be the waist swivel if it wasn't in the beast mode. Shoulders, ratchet. This one, I'm not a fan of. Listen to that squeaking. I'm not a fan of that. I really don't want to unscrew it to see what the problem is. I did just buy some WD-40 recently for probably to do a video of something else, of fixing something. But the forward and backwards is nice. The outward on this one does not squeak. So I'll probably use that one. You have a bicep swivel. You get a ratcheted elbow joint with beyond 90-degree range. Very nice. You get opening hands. No finger articulation, but that looks weird as hell. You have a wrist joint, which I don't know if that's useful, but it comes with a swivel. It has a swivel. Waist. You do actually get a waist joint. Pretty much unhindered by the dyno mess. It can go all the way around. That is impressive. Hips. Ratcheted. The panel gets in the way, so it's, yep, all the way back. Not ratcheted outwards. But now he's separating. Knee. Even with the armor plating, very deep. You have an ankle pivot. I think is there a swivel? No, there's a forward and backwards that's locked by the pointless mechanical detail, but you can get that far forward. Let's move it out of the way. Let's de-transform some stuff. You can get no backwards motion, just forwards there. So I guess, why not? And no toe articulation. I guess these things don't count, but you have a bit of a heel pivot. So overall, for a combiner made out of dinosaurs, frankly, I wish I was made out of 3 dinosaurs. He has a lot of posability. I'm not even counting the neck. Not even counting the neck. Combiner posability. He doesn't even look like, well, he does look like a combiner, but he's not a combiner in the traditional car robot sense. He's a very odd combiner, to put it lightly. Like Magnaboss, Tripredicus, freaking Magmatron. There were a lot of weird Japanese beast combiners. If you count 3 as a lot. We're not even done because we have accessories. Yes, the things on the Quetzalcoatlus wings are swords. He can wield. They look very small in his hands. They pretty much look like daggers. Yeah, they're solid red. They do have some molding to try and pass them off as wing membranes. They are swords. He has melee weapons. I'm just going to leave him on the wings because he has a much different sword. And it involves the pieces we took off earlier. So I'm just going to try and stand him right there. As this piece has the spark crystal on it and becomes a sword. I'm not kidding. Like it folds up a very specific way. And has a worrying sort of right this way. So fold that up, and then oh god, make sure it looks like that. And that is the hilt for what I removed from the tail. This is a blade, obviously, made out of that same rubbery plastic, and it's some Hellraiser shit. Taking your stomach and turning it into a sword, into the handguard of a sword. Holy hell. That's dedication. You could just stick the blade in his hand, which comes off as a very weird knife. It's a freaking sword. And, additionally, I haven't even talked about the other thing he comes with. The same blast effect parts from the previous review, but in a nice Decepticon purple. And I think it, on the box itself, it uses one of the pieces. Yeah, I'll use this one. Under the blade. Why? Is the blade exploding from the hilt? There. Fox, come here. That right there. That. That's probably the big. Yeah, that's the big effect part. That's this one. Why? What does that add to his sword? Why? Oh, and if you think we're done there, have you not been paying attention? This. This is a shield. This is the weirdest shield. Well, there's historical precedent. Cowhide shields. Just take this bit, and you want it, I think, this side facing down. But you, unfortunately, have to rotate his elbows so that he has gorilla arm. Now he has a shield. He ripped off a different body part to use as a shield. Why? I think if you couldn't tell by now, that's the theme of this toy is why? Why is any of this? Why did I buy this? Why did they make this? There's no other Neo representation in this whole line. There's none been announced or leaked so far. Why? I don't know why, but I kind of love it. It is the most bonkers, give a monkey a typewriter kind of thing. What if we combine 3 different dinosaurs into a robot? And then use part of one of the dinosaurs as a shield. Alright, I think somebody needs to go home, take a nap, and swear off the Adderall for a while. It's kind of awesome in a way that feels perfectly in line with, I guess, me, because I am that weird collector, but I don't know. I love it, but I'm still very confused. And I think I'm just going to put him on the shelf and try not to think about it for too long and maybe have a lie down. Keep it weird. This, I can't tell if I want to recommend this guy. I mean, if you want him, he's absolutely batshit insane. Look, you can make him even taller. That just occurred to me. That's actually a not a horrible way to clean up the head sculpt. Oh, we learn something every time. Maybe next time we'll have something more normal. Bye. Bye.